So filmmaking and directing is an opportunity to use the power of music, work with a composer, use the power of photographs and pictures, work with a cinematographer, fashion, like the power of fashion to communicate a story. And so all these elements from my life that I loved growing up became tools of storytelling. So for me, that's what drew me to directing. And then as a filmmaker and director on set, the most fun is playing in collaboration and working with actors and coming up on the fly with something that surprises everyone and playing against what's expected. Because I feel like the best performances play against what you expect something to be. Because people are complicated. So I think if instead of like, you know, Daphne's a ditz, if it's Daphne is like believes in love and kindness and power, like that becomes more interesting than just like Daphne's a ditz, because what's the action in being a ditz? So yeah, that's what I love. I mean, I love it. I just did a big oneer on set the other day with some people at the Goop offices, Gwyneth Paltrow's company. It was just so fun to do a crazy oneer and work with choreography to do a oneer. So I love my job. I love creatives. I love collaborating with creatives. I love storytelling, and I feel so privileged. Like, film is definitely a privilege to be able to do, and to direct is a privilege. And I feel super lucky that Blue Ribbon Content and Warner Brothers entrusted me with this material.
When you mentioned storytelling, there's a lot of improvising on set. Do you have a favorite story from being on set?
I think probably Sarah Gilman. Suddenly so we had an action sequence and found this like abandoned space at this school on set, this electric room. So we shot in there, and I was like, okay, we have like half an hour to shoot in here. So we got in that half an hour the gag of doing circles around something using the same background. Then suddenly on set, I was like, there's two doors here. Sarah, you go in that door. Sarah, come out this door. So then we dolly. Oh, totally. Oh, wow. It was just like, by chance, this is here. That was at some point an idea we had. Let's quickly pick it up. So we got that really quickly. And then that same thing, because again, I believe in set, in play, and letting the actors play. And if you give them rope, they're not going to hang themselves. They're going to come up with, like, you know, if you're surrounded by brilliant people, give them some space to show you their stuff. So we're dollying because there's all these pipes they're going in between, and the action is to like investigate. So they're sneaking in between all the pipes, and we're dollying to the right, and suddenly we land and we see Sarah Gilman on the floor looking over her glasses. And that was not a scripted Velma thing. Velma losing her glasses was not scripted, but it's such a Scooby trope that you need in a Scooby-Doo film. So it was like one of those moments, I think, with improv on set that was really, it was amazing.
Good.
Yeah.
I just gotta say though, she was really nice. Everybody was nice, but she was really nice.
It's finally their crew got the air conditioner working.
Finally, oh my god!
Got the room cooled off. It was like 1 billion degrees in there.
It was funny because Jennifer sits down at the table. She takes off her jacket. She's like, "It's hot in here. I'm taking off my jacket." And she has like a tank top thing on. And Danielle, who had joined us at the table, she was wearing a Spider-Gwen like leather jacket like the whole time that we were in there. And she's like, "Well, I didn't want to be like unprofessional and take the jacket off." And Jennifer's like, "Take your jacket off. You're gonna burn up in here. Go ahead and take it off."
I was cooking, man. I was in a couple of shirts and I was just frying in that room.
You learned the third day, go light. Don't go heavy, go light.
Yeah. Well, I thought, well, maybe if I don't carry this huge bag around with me.
If you don't carry around a 10-pound metal TARDIS, you'll be fine.
Oh yeah, that's a whole other story. We haven't got into that. We haven't got into our shopping stories yet. We'll get into those.
Did we not do that 2 weeks? In the first episode?
Oh, did I already do that?
Yeah,
maybe
we talked about a shopping item.
Did we talk about the 10-pound TARDIS already?
Yeah.
I'm just so delirious from
hunting for like 20 minutes for a Coochie Kopi.
Yeah.
Which she loved. My daughter loved the Coochie Kopi.
Great.
I pulled it out of my bag and she just flipped out and like tore it open and wanted to get
my wife wanted one after I told her they had them. She didn't know they had them.
That was the coolest thing. All right, next interview up is Suzi Yoonesi. She is the producer and director of this movie. And what I love about this interview when you hear it is how much she loves Scooby-Doo and how there were things that she wanted in this movie and that she kind of put in or they improv and she left in because she's like, this is like the Scooby-Doo stuff. Like you ask questions, I think, about the music and things like that.
Yeah.
So this is a really fun interview. So let's hit it.
Thanks for coming, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for taking it. We've been starting at this end and working our way around.
Okay.
What I'd like to know is, when dealing with iconic characters like Daphne and Velma, what was the hardest thing you had to deal with putting this together?
I think the hardest thing was casting. I think that I was never worried about the franchise or the characters because we had Peter on our team who's been doing Scooby for so long that like he knows it better than anyone, like in a way that I'm like, dude. So for me it was really vital that we found girls that could not only embody what we wanted Daphne and Velma to be in this iteration, but also had a natural love for the characters. Like, I don't think I could have ever cast someone that like didn't know who Daphne and Velma were. Right. You know what I mean? Like, I get it's acting, but like, this is near and dear to so many people. We wanted to make sure it was the same for the girls.
Right.
When you were first approached about this project to produce it, what were your feelings about it? What drew you to this project?
It was funny. We signed with, my sister and I have a production company. It's Blondie Girl Productions. My sister is Ashley. We created this company to make strong female content. Our brand is Smart Female Millennial. That's like who we are. It's what we've been doing for a really long time. It's where all of our focus lies. When we first sat down with Blue Ribbon to try to find something to do together when we signed at Warner Brothers, we talked about a lot of different things you can do and a lot of different IP that they had, and Daphne and Velma was a piece of the IP that they mentioned, and I was like, yes. And then I think I stalked them into agreeing to let me be a part of it. And so it's been really great because it's been, a year and a half process of us bringing this to life in a way, and we really got to collaborate with, like, Blondie Girl and Blue Ribbon collaborated and really brought this through together. So it wasn't like, here's a pretty film that you can put your name on. Like, we really, from the get-go, have been involved, and that's been a really fun process because it is our brand. I mean, who's stronger of a character than and smarter than Daphne and Velma?
Right.
And don't tell me who, because I will say it's not true.
Nobody.
Press SmackDown going.
You talk with passion about the character. Did you grow up with Scooby-Doo, or?
Yeah, I did. I mean, it's funny because, like, I haven't met many people that haven't grown up with Scooby-Doo. And I mean, I'm 36, so like I came from the world of Saturday morning cartoons, and there was only a few cartoon channels at that time. So I really have an appreciation for the characters in the story, and like I've said other times today, my mom was allergic to dogs, so I wasn't allowed to have one. So I had a lot of Scooby stuffed animals, and I think it also like allowed me to know that like mysteries exist and like tap into that part of my personality, and I still use that by Googling whether or not someone has a girlfriend or not. It really is just, I don't know, it's just such a part of who we were as kids that I'm so happy to kind of give this version to the world. Whether people love it or hate it, like, I think there's going to be respect for it because I think it's really fun. But I'm biased. I mean it,
So I should preface, have you seen the finished product at this point? Like several times?
Yeah,
just making sure. I just 4 times a night.
I'm very hands-on.
Okay.
I was, and you can ask Suzi. I was in the edit bay with them, like day in, day out. I was on set all but 2 days of filming. Like, this is my baby.
So then, throughout filming and seeing the finished product, was there like one moment or one scene that you looked at and you were like, this is why we did this. This is what this story is about?
It's not the scene. I have an 8-year-old, and Michaela has seen the movie 3 times now. The first time she saw it and sat with her mouth like, that was why I made this movie. that was why I made the movie. To give her something where she could see herself. Because I think in the past, like, girls could either be like smart and nerdy or like fashionable and dumb, but like you never saw a smart girl that like was cute and dressed well. And so to be able to like give these girls style and smarts and to enjoy science and computers and the supernatural, like, my daughter is that kid that likes all of those things, and I don't think she should ever be told that she can't. And I think that she watched this movie and was like, oh my god, like, they're just like me. And these girls have each other's back, and their friendship is strong. And when something's going on with their classmates, rather than talking about them, they investigate and they try to help their friends. And I think that, like, the underlying story of just like having your friends back and trusting your instincts is something that, like, it's great and it's so cool. But that was it. Like, her reaction was everything.
Well, I'd love to hear a little bit more about your experience as a female-identified filmmaker. And I know at this point you've done like pretty much everything. You've done acting, like producing, like everything. And so especially with Blondie Girl Productions, where your focus is so female-driven, we have a really big female audience. So I was wondering what advice or experience or words of wisdom you want to share.
This is going to sound really naive, and I know what I'm going to say is, I never thought there wasn't anything I could do. I think my parents really like encouraged me, like, if I worked hard, if I got an education, if I learned the things that I wanted to do and kept it up, like, I would be able to do those things. So I started as an actor, and like I went to acting classes, and you know, I really put the work in for that. While I was acting, I went to school and I got my degree in cinema and television with an emphasis on screenwriting. And I realized during that, I don't like screenwriting. I'm actually not very good at it. I mean, but what I was good at was making other people's scripts better, which would make me a really good producer. And I had really great ideas. And while there have been moments of people not taking us serious or not understanding where we were coming from, I think Ashley and I have always known that, like, we have stories to tell, and sometimes it takes a little longer, but you still get there. That, you know, and I think for me the best advice is, like, seek out as many opportunities as you can in any way that you can. A lot of people these days expect to come into the industry and automatically be directing Marvel films, and that's not the way it works. So really taking the time and learning from the bottom and learning everything you can learn is so important. I've done everything. Like, I've been behind the camera, I know how to edit, like, I've been a PA, I've been an intern, like, I've been a script assistant, like, I've done all of these things because having that wealth of knowledge only allows me to, like, be able to connect with people and talk to people about what they're doing, like, better. Does that make sense? Yeah. So just, for me, if you're a female filmmaker, just keep putting the work in. And the doors will open, and they're already starting to open, and especially, you know, with the Me Too movement, like, so many doors are being kicked open for people. I mean, I know I read an article this morning that Ava DuVernay is asking that female filmmakers that don't have an agent or a manager, like, to submit their things so they could be a director on Queen of the South. So more and more females in this industry are trying to help lift other females. We had 4 female producers, female director, female editor, female DP. This movie was made by women, and it's great. So let's stop it there.
Thank you. Yeah.
On that note,
Perfect place to stop.
I do want to say off camera, I have an 8-year-old daughter who's been called the weird girl at school. So what you just said, it hit me, and I'm gonna show her the movie.
she will love it. She may get scared at one point.